Welcome to another inspiring episode of the Elite Expert Insider Podcast. Hosts Melanie Johnson and Jen Foster are the owners of Elite Online Publishing. They're both Wall Street Journal, USA Today best-selling authors. We're really glad you're here because this podcast was designed for you. Meet industry experts that share their secrets and strategies. Get successful results for your business in money, relationships, health, and your life. Each episode is going to inspire you to take action towards reaching your greatness.
Hey everyone, it's Melanie Johnson. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing awesome. I have Jen. Hey Jen Foster, my business partner.
How's it going, everyone? It's a wonderful day today.
Make it a wonderful day. If you're not having a wonderful day, turn it into a wonderful day. Show gratitude. That always changes my mindset when I'm having a crummy day. So we want you to have a happy, joyful, grateful day. Hey, so we're going to learn about digital media today, and it's confusing with everything out there, but we're going to kind of focus on what's working that we know that's working, that's been around for a while, what we should dive deeper into. And before we get started, I want to remind you, if you're thinking of doing one of the most traditional forms of media and promotion, which is a book, it's been around for thousands of years. So we know that it works. If you'd like to become an author and use it as an advertising and marketing tool for your business, reach out to us at Elite Online Publishing. We will help you write the book. We will publish the book for you, market the book, and make you a bestseller. So reach out to us there at our website and fill out the submission form. So let's get started. We have Dylan Ogline with us today, who is a digital media expert. And we are going to talk about what you should be doing for your business, but maybe even personally, like how do you grow your Instagram? What should I be doing for a personal brand as well as my company brand? What should I do for a side hustle? So let's dive into that. Thanks, Dylan, for coming today.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Tell us, Dylan, how you got into this industry and how you kind of all started.
Sure. So I started my first business when I was 14. I'm 31 for reference. So this was, it started in 2002, 2003, somewhere around there. I was selling cell phones on eBay, flipping phones that I would get from a wholesaler in Europe. And then I'd bring them to the United States and I'd flip them. But this was at the infancy of things like Google Ads. I don't even think Facebook was a twinkle in Mark Zuckerberg's eye yet. So, but this was the beginning of this whole like digital marketing thing. And I didn't know it at the time, but that I would eventually get into that industry. But I began to play around with it. I began to do like my first Google Ads when I was 14, 15 years old and paying like 5 cents a click and just ridiculous. It was the Wild West back then. And so started doing that. Eventually the cell phone business got shut down because my merchant account provider found out that I was not 18 or older. You have to can't give merchant accounts to teenagers, I guess. So that got shut down. But I learned web design. I learned a little bit of graphics design. So I transitioned to spending 12 years bouncing around between different businesses, but always kind of having like agency work that I was doing to kind of pay the bills, and got absolutely nowhere for many years. Eventually, it would have been 2016, end of 2016, beginning of 2017, reached a tipping point, scrapped everything, and just focused on digital marketing services for my clients, and quickly scaled things up from there. And that's what I've been focusing on since then.
Great. So what do you think is working right now in the digital marketing space? What should people be focusing on, and how do they decide what to focus on?
There's three very different questions there. What's working is everything. We were talking pre-show, obviously, about like TikTok and Snapchat and what's the one for people just talking?
Clubhouse.
Clubhouse. I am sure that people are making money off of that, and they're doing some kind of marketing on that. But what should they focus on? I really advocate on focusing on things that are tried and true, things that have been around for years. The truth is that people who, like say Clubhouse or Snapchat ads or doing things like that, they just so happen to try it. If they're having success now, they just so happen to try it and they hit a home run their first at bat, which can happen. And people are and they get excited about these early returns and like, I can get into it and knock it out of the park and it's great and everything, but it's kind of just luck.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas with things like Facebook ads, like Facebook itself has been around for years. People have been learning Facebook ads for years. So now everybody can get really, really good at it. And you can just continue to practice and practice and practice until you get good at it. So what should people focus on? If you're talking about digital marketing, I'm a huge advocate of tried and true methods: YouTube, Google, Facebook ads, things like that. What was the third question? What was the third element?
I think that was all right. I think you covered everything, like what they should be doing and what they should be focusing on. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, let's talk a little bit about some of those, because I know, some people are a little bit scared of ads or scared of Facebook ads because they're like, oh, I tried it, I boosted a post and I didn't get any return, or I spent $1,000 and I only sold $1,000, so I broke even or whatever. So tell us a little bit about, how they can utilize Facebook ads and how they can do it right. And do they need an expert like you to help them? Like, how does that work?
Couple different questions there. No, that's all right. So boosting posts is just a terrible idea. Facebook's just doing that to like grab a quick $20 off of you. They will try to eat your money if they can, but no, don't boost posts. You mentioned spending $1,000 and getting $1,000 back. If you do that, like if you've tried a Facebook ad once and you're like, yeah, I spent $1,000 and I got $1,000 back in sales. Like you have a printing press in front of you. Like I consider us really, really good at what we do, really, really good at Facebook ads. When we bring on a client, we tell them straight up, like, expect your first month to spend $1,000 or $10,000. And if you get 60 cents back on the dollar, we killed it. That's fantastic for your first month. Like you have to understand, like you're not going to hit that home run the first at bat, and you have to test things and you have to continuously improve. So I tell people, expect to get 60 cents back that first month. And then maybe we improve to 80 cents back. Like you're good. You're making an investment. We continue to test. We continue to figure out what ads work, what ad copy works, what pictures work, landing pages, and things like that. Like you continuously iterate. Once you get to $1.10 back or $1.20 back, like you just scale it up and you literally can print money. And then again, you continue to improve and you continue to improve, and then you might get $3 back for every dollar you spend, but you don't start there. You start by being really terrible. It's like the first time you rode a bike. Like, you remember how you were really good at it the first time? Well, of course not. You were terrible. You fell. It's the exact same thing with Facebook ads. So you just have to continue to reiterate. Do you need an expert? Well, that's up to you. I hire an accountant because I don't want to take the time to learn it, and they're better at it. They're more efficient at it than me. If you're a do-it-yourselfer and you want to do everything yourself and you want to figure it out, then yeah, go down that route. If you want to fast track, then yeah, work with an agency and work with an expert who can help you along much faster than what you could.
I think that's good advice about the Facebook ads. I think even when we've tried and we've been so discouraged and we just run them for a week or 2 weeks and we're like, oh, this isn't working. And we're just throwing money away. We're just, you feel like it's never going to work. So you're just throwing it away. So that's good advice to say, just know that you're going to make an investment. You're going to lose money for maybe 3 or 4 months on those ads. And then eventually it's going to, if you have good people behind you, eventually it's going to work. So, and part of that is you talk about being lean and mean when you start out, and it's hard to be able to say, I'm going to throw this money away, or that I'm going to be losing X amount of money per month. What is some advice about running your company lean and mean and to get to that point of having success?
I'm going to kind of go in a different direction than what I've recently. So I always go with keeping it lean and mean. You want to focus on the critical things in the beginning. Don't build out this complex business because you got to reiterate and things. I like the idea of also really recommending to people, and this I haven't talked about much, but lately I have, and find other people who have found success, and not necessarily try to copy them, but how do I want to explain this? let's use the Facebook ads. Let's say you're an e-commerce business and you want to figure out Facebook ads, and you've tried it. You spent $1,000 and you got $600 back, and you're like, Facebook ads doesn't work. I tried it for 2 weeks, right? Well, look into other people in the industry who are killing it with Facebook ads for their e-commerce business.
Mm-hmm.
And simply like keeping it in the back of your mind, like, okay, those people were able to figure it out, will continue to motivate you to be like, okay, obviously this works.
Mm-hmm.
And then if those people are talking about their story, they will probably tell you how, hey, right now, I'm doing $1 million a month in sales, but I started doing $1,000 a month in sales.
Mm-hmm.
So you can look at those stories and be like, okay, other people have clearly done this, and other people failed miserably over and over and over again until they finally figured it out.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that has been both with students I've worked with and myself personally, has kept me going in those times where you just continue to fail over and over and over again. So find somebody else who has done very similar to what you have already done, and use them as motivation.
It's kind of like that, mentor, or that person that, I mean, they might not be your personal mentor, but you can look to them because they're doing it and they've done it before. And I like the quote, success leaves clues, right? Like, look at those who are successful, look at the clues and try that. Because it could just be you tweaking your niche, or it could just be tweaking your copy, or it could be tweaking your demographic, right?
Yeah, and it's also one, if you can find the mentor and actually work with him or her, that's fantastic. Like you're really onto something there. But maybe it's somebody who does a podcast, or somebody just puts out YouTube videos, or maybe it's just a family friend that you know. Just having that motivation to like, okay, those people figured it out. Obviously, I can too. Can really push you to keep going, and especially if you can find out and hear about how they continuously failed in the beginning, because very, very few people hit a home run their first at bat, whether we're talking about marketing or publishing a book or starting a podcast. Most people were absolutely terrible in the beginning. So keep it simple, and then just continue, just keep pushing on.
I love that you say building like to build your company, you need to show your value and stop hiding behind low prices. Explain what you mean by that.
So this is mostly, I guess it could go for product-based businesses. I was going to say it's mostly for service-based businesses, but a lot of people, when they're starting, especially first-time entrepreneurs and things like that, they end up they end up convinced that, well, if I'm just the low-cost provider, everybody will want to come to me, right? That's a race to the bottom, and nobody makes money being the low-cost provider. And then it also, and this is something I figured out working with students in my industry, is then you also end up providing a low-quality service, and you get discouraged because I'm just not providing the kind of service that I know I could provide. But you're not really motivated to, because you undercut your price to get customers in the beginning, which again doesn't work. It's a race to the bottom. So, most people, when they're getting into whether it's a product business or a service business, they have this idea of, I could do it better than other people. Nobody gets into a business and says, my opportunity here is I can do it cheaper than everybody else. Most everybody is, I can do it better or different than everybody else out there in the marketplace. And then they convince themselves that the way to differentiate themselves and to get customers is to be the low-cost provider. Don't do that. Be the high-quality solution or the different solution. Whether it's a product or a service, be very high quality and charge a premium price. I could do an hour-long show on all the benefits of this, but just trust me, be the very high quality product or service provider that you know you can be, and charge a premium price for that.
I really like that, because I've talked to a few of my entrepreneur friends, and they have this great service they provide, and they have a unique way of doing it and providing it. but then they undercut themselves by saying, oh, I'm just going to run a few Groupons for a couple months, or I'm just going to give, where they're really just giving away their service for free. And it does bring people into the door, and maybe some of those will sign up for the next package, but why not offer the full price and then get them into their next tier up. So yeah, I really like how
absolutely.
you say that.
This is also important for like service providers. You can end up in what I call a price trap situation. So most of that idea of doing low priced work is, well, then I'll get referrals and stuff. I'll do great work and then I'll get referrals, because everybody's gonna be like, oh, this is great work. They look at John. He built me a great website. And he'll tell all of his friends. Or look at photographers do this all the time. Oh, look at all these great pictures. So you will get referrals if you do great work. But if somebody sees a product or service, the first question they ask is, who did that for you? Or where did you get that product or service from? And the second question is always, what did they charge you? So if you're building websites for somebody and you want to charge $2,000, but in the beginning you're like, I'll do it for $500 to get some referrals. Those referrals are coming in with the mindset of, hey, John's website looks great and he paid $500. I'm going to get a great website for $500. Well, then if you look at that person, you say, well, it's $2,000. Automatically, that's a massive issue. Like, why do I have to pay more? So in the beginning, it's tempting, but don't undercut yourself. Don't get into a price trap situation. It's a huge mistake.
That makes a bunch of sense. And you talk about narrowing your focus. So, I know even with our business, we started out and you're trying to be everything to everybody, right? And then, when you do a micro niche, and we've heard about, micro niching your business down. We had someone, Trisha, who just came on our podcast, and she micro niched that she is a realtor, but she micro niched that she does manifestation, that she likes, law of attraction, the secret manifestation, and she tied the two together. So she's the real estate agent that helps you manifest your house. So that's a pretty big micro niche. So talk about finding your focus, and you found your focus in your business too.
Yes. So for me, the big factor that I didn't see in the beginning was that you get better. So if you're, I was just talking about websites earlier. If you're building websites for all kinds of different businesses, all kinds of different niches, you're reinventing the wheel every single time. And the main factor you want to do it is that the main reason you want to niche down or get very narrow is that it makes acquiring customers better. If you're, say, building websites and you go to a restaurant and you say, hey, we build really great websites, that's not really exciting. But if you go to a restaurant and you say, we specifically help restaurants grow their online presence and get more reservations with their website, that's completely different, but you're doing the exact same thing. So the reason I started narrowing down my focus and narrowing down my niche and also narrowing down my products and services, I guess, is because I thought it would make it more easier to sell, which it absolutely does. But the bigger factor I learned over time is that you get better and better and better. If you're building websites for everybody, you're reinventing the wheel every time. You never really get good at one specific thing. But if you're only building websites for restaurants, very quickly you can become one of the best people in the world at that particular niche. And that differentiates yourself, makes you be able to communicate better with the potential clients. You provide a higher quality service. You're able to charge more. You become wanted more. People will be waiting in line for you. You want to be the very best. The more narrow you can get, the better.
I love that. I love that focus energy, right? On that one specific niche, because that gets you, like you said, gets you better and better and better.
Absolutely.
That's great.
Well, tell us where we can find you, Dylan.
You can, my agency website is oglinedigital.com. And then my personal website is dylanogline.com. And I'm on the Facebooks and the Instagrams and the LinkedIn's at Dylan Ogline. Pretty simple.
Awesome. We'll put those up in the show notes. And for those watching on YouTube, it'll be in the comments there.
Terrific. Well, thanks for coming by today. We hope you enjoyed the show and got some good takeaways. So we'll see you next time. And remember, if you're looking to publish a book, we help you write, publish, and market your book and make you a #1 bestseller. Just look us up at eliteonlinepublishing.com. We'll see you next time. Thanks.
Bye.
Hey, are you looking to increase your revenue, build credibility, and elevate your brand? This podcast is brought to you by Elite Online Publishing, an innovative publishing and full spectrum marketing company. They will publish and market your book to make it a #1 bestseller. Becoming an author is the best way to market your business. So contact them at eliteonlinepublishing.com today. All of their authors become #1 bestsellers.